The long weekend is finally here, and as many of us head out, expect to see a lot more police officers here on the roads in York Region and beyond in an effort to crack down on impaired driving.
It baffles my mind as to why we keep seeing this.
As officers begin doing roadside stops of motorists, they're looking for signs of impairment. York Regional Police Chief Jim McSween is sharing his frustration with statistics on impaired driving.
These numbers consistently are going up. Year over year, we have about a quarter of the calls that we take turn into a valid call of an impaired driver.
The service will be out all across the region, and it's not just officers and cruisers. If you're out, expect to see the service's full fleet in action, not just on the roads.
That truck you see is our ride truck. We can do breath tests in that truck. Our air support unit, Air 2, as well as our marine unit on the water.
But this enforcement plan isn't restricted to this area. Across Ontario, OPP officers will be watching closely.
It's all hands on deck. Every OPP officer is constantly watching for impaired driving.
Similar to York, statistics throughout the province paint a grim picture on instances of impaired driving.
Last year was one of our largest numbers of impaired driving charges since 2009. So last year the OPP laid just over 10,200 charges for impaired driving.
Retired Officer Graham Turrell is all too familiar with the devastation impaired driving can bring.
My son-in-law was on his way to work. This was at 10 to 6 in the morning. He was coming down Highway 48. The other individual, Tyler Nilsson, was northbound on 48 and for some reason crossed the lanes well over 200 kilometers an hour.
Stuart Ellis died, leaving behind his wife and 2 children. Turrell now tries to educate others about the consequences of getting behind the wheel while impaired.
The one thing that drives us is that I don't want this to ever happen to anybody else. This is what can happen. Don't throw your life away or have a family member killed.
So if you're going to drink or consume cannabis, Kathy Mitchell with Mothers Against Drunk Driving urges you to
call an Uber, plan for a designated driver, call a cab, phone a friend, crash on somebody's couch if you need to, but just think about it ahead of time.
Because if you're caught and convicted, the penalties for impaired driving are steep.
It's not a fine and you're walking away. Fines have significantly increased. Penalties once you're caught more than once have increased.
With everything that's happening this weekend, there will be a lot to deal with. We'll have all the updates you need at citynews.ca, and on City News 680, we'll have cottage country traffic on the 9s. Near Newmarket, Nick Westoll, City News.